The FTrain. This is one of New York City's many subway lines. Old New Yorkers don't even know the FTrain. They know only the IRT. And this is how you can tell an old New Yorker. They will say they take the IRT, which means Interborough Rapid Transit, which means the 1, 2, or 3 train on the west side, or the 4, 5, or 6 train on the east side, or the Lexington line and the, I think, Broadway Local, Broadway Express. The FTrain is in its own special world, and really until the last couple of decades only went through, let's just say it wasn't prime real estate that it went through. F did not stand for fast, frequent, or efficient. But that was my joke when I was a New Yorker and reliant on the FTrain. There's been this trend of late to have people complain about how slow the subways are. Really what happened, to my knowledge, was a blip where the subways actually came frequently, worked well, people weren't trapped between stations that frequently. That, I think, is the anomalous occurrence. So that there was this wonderful period of the kingdom flourishing and prospering, and all of the people from the castle down to the peasants were happy. And now everyone's furious about how the subway's working or not working. Then again, I could just be warped by having been on the F line for many of my residential opportunities in New York City. So, aside from the jokes, there were a couple of problems with the F. In the late 80s, they were working on several different subway lines. So the N, R, B, and Q trains, if you are well versed at all in 80s music, you'll know there was a band called NRBQ. That's where it comes from. And the NR, B, and Q trains ran on the F line, thereby disrupting the frequency of the F train. So there would be 10 minutes between F trains just because an F train was holding to let these other trains go through. This was a problem. But the other problem was that you couldn't change cars the way that you could on some other trains. So some of the older trains, they're all different sizes. So the F train is a little bit wider and fatter than the trains that run on the, what are they now? The IRT line, you know, the Lexington line, for instance, smaller. You can change cars as the train is moving, whenever you feel like it. You can ride between cars. You can ride between cars and snatch someone's purse and then hop off the train. There are all kinds of options. On the F train, you can't. So I was with a friend, having met some friends for supper. There was not very good Mexican food in New York City in the late 80s. So we went to this place that I think was called, I can't remember, but it was something Tex-Mexy sounding. And my friend and I were on the F. There were a couple of guys getting into a fight on one end of the train. And so everybody else started moving to the end of that car. My friend grew up taking the IRT, so she tried to change cars on the train and was unable to do so because just the handle moved and the door didn't move. This became problematic while we were underneath the East River heading into Manhattan, and one of the guys pulled a knife on the other one. So all we could do was huddle in our end of the train and just wait for the doors to open on the platform and then get off and then inform somebody that there was a knife fight happening. So, yeah, I don't have a ton of sympathy when people talk about how hard it is taking the subway in New York these days. And I know people who have much more intense stories than mine. But that's mine.